Picture a corgi in your head. Now picture a husky. Even though these two animals look pretty different, they're still able to breed with each other and have healthy puppies. But now look at the birds on my slide. Even though these birds look almost identical and they live in overlapping regions of the world in Siberia, they don't seem to breed with each other in the wild. And that's even weirder when you know their shared history. We think about 20,000 years ago, during the last ice age, all of these birds, called greenish warblers, lived to the south of the Tibetan Plateau in that area that's yellow on the slide. Since then, their range has expanded north on either side of the plateau until they overlapped again in Siberia. And now, weirdly, even though birds all the way around the southern part of the ring can still interbreed with their neighbors, the two northern populations won't interbreed with one another. So what stops them? Well, my supervisor has already found out that as the birds' range expanded north on either side of the ring, there were tiny changes in single letters of their DNA throughout their genomes that made it so the genetic code is no longer the same. And those differences might be enough to stop them from interbreeding, but we know that's not the quickest or most drastic way that animals' DNA can change. In fact, almost all animals have chunks of DNA that can move and copy themselves in their genome, and there's a lot of them. These chunks make up over 50% of the human genome and about 15% of the greenish warbler genome. So because these chunks can just move and insert themselves at random spots in the animal's DNA, we expect they could cause quicker and more drastic changes than the tiny mutations that we mentioned before. But people don't actually know yet whether it happens fast enough or on a large enough scale to stop animals from interbreeding in nature. So that's why I wanted to know about the differences in these moving chunks of DNA called transposable elements in the two northern greenish warbler populations. Because the populations lost the ability to interbreed so recently, the differences in TEs, transposable elements, are also probably pretty recent, which means they might be part of why they lost the ability to interbreed. So I wrote scripts to help me count all the different kinds of transposable elements we could find in these two populations of birds, and we did find differences. I found that there are two types of TEs that were thousands of times more common in the birds to the left, the eastern birds, and one type that was far more common in the birds to the right. So clearly, the things that stop animals from having offspring together go deeper than what we can see on the surface, and there's more to it than just the accumulation of single letter changes in their genetic code throughout the genome. It's possible that transposable elements, these chunks of DNA with the ability to move and copy themselves in the genome, might be causing differences between these birds that stop them from interbreeding in nature. And that means, in general, transposable elements might be part of the mechanisms that stop animals from breeding and help them become different species. And that's one of the core processes responsible for the kinds of animals we see today and how they're going to continue to change in response to a changing world. Thank you.